Goodwill Games, activity continuing at Gymnastics.
Connor, we're back live at the Olympic Sports Complex, and you're looking at Vera Kolesnikova. At a 9.90, she's getting ready to work on the balance beam, and she has a good chance of taking the gold medal away from Elena Shushanova. Elena had a 9.775, and she's currently the leader with a 19.725. But Kolesnikova, all she needs to tie for a gold medal is a 9.825, and that's where the story lies right now as the two Soviets continue to battle each other. Remember, Shushanova already has 2 gold medals in the competition, and here's Kolesnikova.
It's really hard to beat this girl on this event. It's not that she's so spectacular. She doesn't do that many hard tricks, but she doesn't miss. She is so solid on this event.
And actually, this is the first time today that Shushanova has even opened the door for Kolesnikova to sneak in for a gold medal.
Well, they battled for the all-around yesterday, and it was Kolesnikova who came out on top. And now, for the first time today, she has a chance to take the gold away from her teammate once again. She did it in the all-around. The applause for the young lady you're watching, Kolesnikova. She had a 9.9 on the beam also in the team in the all-around competition yesterday.
Now here's the hardest skill in her routine. 2 back handsprings, lay out, step out. Not quite as perfect as it usually is, but the most they could take is 1/10 of a point. Now the rest of her routine is actually very stock. She doesn't do too many more skills of value.
And actually there she did just a back walkover, and that's unusual, really. Usually they do a back walkover into a layout backflip or a piked backflip.
But fortunately for her, the name of the game is stay on and give no deductions. She has a nice, confident style here.
But if I can be honest, she's not doing anything. She's all over the beam. She's not doing any acrobatic skills. She's doing pretty moves. But I don't think she's doing the big tricks that we saw Shushanova do.
Here comes her big trick. She's setting up for a dismount. The only one done in this competition. Watch it. It's a triple twist. Perfect landing.
She saved the best for last.
I think so.
And look at the applause she gets from her teammates. Elena Shushanova, they're battling for the gold and the silver right now, and maybe both will walk away with the gold. You never can tell.
Well, by the book, there are no deductions there. She has her difficulty. She ends with a very difficult triple twist, and she does it better than anyone I've ever seen.
You know, she only needs a 9.85 to take over the lead, and she had that little bobble early in the exercise, but with this outstanding triple twist, watch her finish 1, 2, 3, and that is nailing a landing. I think she's going to get the big score.
Because Shushanova only had a 9.775. She is in the lead with a 19.725 total. But Kolesnikova of the Soviet Union, you're watching her now, 17 years of age.
You would think after all of this week of competition that Shushanova ought to know not to open the door for Kolesnikova, because once you do, boy, she's going to sneak in there.
One mistake. And she's anxiously awaiting the score. We have some preliminary scores up on the board. 9.90. That will just about wrap it up for Kolesnikova to pick up the gold medal on the beam. And right now, Elena Shushanova is looking at a silver. We'll be back with more Goodwill Games coverage after this.
We'll return with more.
Okay, hold it down. Easy, you're on the air. You're on the air.
Charlie Neal along with Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, and we're back here live at the Olympic Sports Complex. And let's watch a young lady from Bulgaria. Her name is Diana Dedeva. She comes into the competition with a 9.60, and she has a chance at a medal.
She is one fiery competitor.
Оценка 8, 175 тысячных.
She became the ace of Bulgarian gymnasts back in June, winning the national all-around title.
Now here comes a very hard run. Back handspring, layout, layout. Little trouble with the landing, but she recovers quite well.
Okay, Kathy, here's a quiz for you. Who does this girl remind you of? One of the famous American gymnasts from quite a few years back.
That's easy. She reminds me of Rhonda Schwann. Rhonda was a top gymnast back around 78 and 79.
Has the same fiery style, doesn't she?
She sure does.
Got a 9.8.
Another slight balance break. She's really determined, though. She's not letting them go.
Представим участниц финальных соревнований в вольных упражнениях.
We introduce the
Standing back pike.
finalists on the floor exercises.
Routine is a little stop and go, a little choppy. Doesn't quite have the flow that it should. Preparing for the dismount. She needs to stick. Pike double dismount. Very difficult off the balance beam.
Had a little step. She needed a 9.65 to tie at least Luo Fang of China for a bronze medal. Luo Fang was in third place, so we'll await her score. That's Diana Dedeva of Bulgaria. A 9.60 coming in, and here we are getting ready for our next event, our final event, which is the floor exercise. Meanwhile, the scores after the balance beam competition are now final. Vera Kolesnikova of the Soviet Union walks away with the gold to go with the silver that she earned on the bars, while Yelena Shushinova picks up the silver to go with the 2 golds she's already earned. Diana Dedeva, the young lady we just saw from Bulgaria, wins a bronze, the second medal that the Bulgarians have won in the gymnastics women's competition. They won a silver in teams competition. And we'll be back with more Goodwill Games coverage after this.
At the gymnastics, we're carrying that live for you today. Remember, we'll have the bronze in the men's volleyball coming up in a little while, and also the bronze medal game in the men's basketball. That venue, of course, in Spain. Had an interesting story about Vera Kolesnikova, who's the Soviet gymnast who is leading right now in the balance beam. She was awarded the gold in the individual all-around yesterday, and she got an extra prize by having her name bestowed on a new breed of flower in the Soviet Union for garnering the winning total of 78.55 points in the tournament in yesterday's competition. She won the balance beam, by the way. And it's interesting because we were talking about the Soviet gymnastics and the attitude in this country toward that. So there's an attitude not only of recruiting the youngsters, helping them train and find their way into gymnastics, all the way from body styles to mental attitudes to physical ability, but also once someone reaches a certain level of athletic performance in the Soviet Union, the state literally rewards the person throughout their life. So the motivation is very strong, and I think that could be, Bart Connor agreed, that could be one of the reasons the Soviet Union has been literally moving ahead in the world of gymnastics, along with some of the other individual artistic kinds of sports. Now we're going to return to the gymnastics venue and Charlie Neal.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. I heard you say they have a flower named after. Maybe we can send a dozen Kolesnikovas to our favorite young lady. We're getting ready for the final event in the individual apparatus finals. The floor exercise. They'll be working on this carpet we have grown to love. It's 40 by 40 feet. And our first young lady that we'll see is from the United States, Hope Spivey. Hope scored a 9.70 in the preliminary competition. There she is.
And she is a spunky little competitor.
She lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania. 4'8", 81 pounds. She's 14 years of age. She says her idol is a young lady she's going to be competing with in this floor exercise, Oksana Omelianchik. And she'll be right behind Hope, in fact. She says that the Soviets taught her how to discipline themselves. And when they were touring this past spring, she got a chance to meet the Soviets and get to know them pretty well. Hope Spivey from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
One of the greatest qualities that she has as a gymnast is that she's very spunky. And you notice that from the Soviet gymnast. That's the style of the leading gymnast these days, is very spunky, light, high approach to the sport.
She finished second in the all-arounds recently at the Nationals.
So many years in the past we've had gymnasts who have won with a very stern, disciplined look, but she's fun to watch.
Comes in with a 9-7. Hope Spivey.
Look at the look in her eyes. I think she's going to go after it. The first tumbling run with a full twisting double back. Good landing. Just perfect for it. Builds excitement. Here comes that middle run. Front tuck through to a double twist. Little change of pace. Preparing for her last tumbling run. And a double tuck. Perfect landing. You couldn't ask for any better.
Hope Spivey, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
What a great exercise. Every tumbling run was right on.
This is probably going to be the toughest competition that we've seen so far because of such great talent working on the floor exercise, and we have a couple 9-9s as we look at part of Hope's routine.
She has a lot of speed and power in her tumbling. See it right here? She takes off, does a full twist on the first somersault, and then does another back somersault. What a great landing.
Here she is.
This is her coach right here, Donna Strauss. She's also the assistant coach for the United States team here.
Hope seems to be a little happy with her routine, and she has every reason to be. She came in with a 9.70.
Here's the last tumbling run. This is a very difficult tumbling run. A double back. She gets tremendous height, perfect position. And the best part about it is that she really knows how to pull the rotation around so that she lands right on top of it. Excellent work.
Again, the scores are a little slow.
We've talked about that all week, as a matter of fact, that rather than having the usual FIG internationally rated judges at this competition, we actually have some new judges. In fact, we've seen their faces. Nadia Comaneci is judging, Nelly Kim from the men's competition, Alexander Diptiatin and Alexei Tkachev. So we have some of the famous gymnasts who are actually coming in back to the sport and helping judge.
So in other words, we're not only grooming new gymnasts, we're grooming new judges as well.
And they're holding us up, the new gymnasts. But I guess it is hard, making up your mind, watching such great routines time after time. And especially, it seems that a lot of the problems occur with the first gymnast, even though Hope did not come in with, let's say, the highest score in the competition. But the first competitors on each apparatus seem to be the ones that we find the hardest. Even the crowd is starting to get into it a little bit now. Hope Spivey anxiously awaiting the score.
It is tough to go first. The judges really scrutinize that first routine out.
Because they know they have some heavy hitters coming up like Oksana Omelianchik, who we spoke of earlier. Here come the score on Hope Spivey. Also, Joyce Wilborn of the United States will be in this competition. Marilla Sidon, Elena Shushanova, and she comes up with a 9.75 average if you throw out the top and the bottom scores. And they don't seem to be able to even agree on that. We can do it quicker than they can.
Here once again is the full twisting double back at the top of the exercise.
Now they've given her a 9.9 by one judge, and it's still 9.775. So that's not a bad score for Hope Spivey. She finished with a 9.70 in the preliminary and a 9.70 in the all-around. So she finishes with a total of 19.475. Hope Spivey, but Oksana Omelianchik, who you're going to love this routine, I'm sure.